And we're live.
Week 3.
Week 3. We got week 1, week 2, and now week 3. And we have some matchups, man. So,
I sound a little excited about it.
well, I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see everyone put in some work, man. Now, I'll be honest. Let me put this out there. I've seen 2 of these matches. I have seen 2 of these matches. I'm not going to commentate as much on the 2 that I've seen. Because I saw Showdown Debugger versus Zayas live, and I saw Definitely Drake versus Isaac live. Because Definitely Drake versus Isaac did not get the replay saved the initial time they battled. I saw the original version of that fight, and I'll talk briefly about it, but because they didn't get their replay, there was 2 things they could have done. There was only one thing they could have done, and that was just post their full team. But obviously, that's incredibly detrimental to the player. So I gave them an offer, and the offer was have a full rematch. And whatever the result of the rematch is, that's what stays, period.
Makes sense.
So we're going to be watching the fights backwards order. This time we're going to be watching Definitely Drake versus Isaac first, because, like I said, that fight had a lot of things. A lot of things happened during their first initial fights. In total, they had 5 fights.
Oh, jeez, that's a hell of a hiccup.
Yeah. They had 2 fights that counted, 1 fight that didn't count because Isaac had terrestrialized again. Yeah.
Okay.
And then because of the replay issue, they had 2 more fights. And we're going to see those fights play out. The first one we're going to watch is their first match. And look, we got this shit nice and zoomed in for y'all. You see that?
Let me get a visual.
Let me put you in here, man. All right, get in here.
Thank you much.
So, let's talk about their teams. Both of them are using mods that they've used before. I think every single one of these mods is a repeat.
I think so. Hold on a second. I could check.
Let me see. Here's Corviknight, Weavile, Tornadus, and then week 1 we have. Oh, so Hatterene is actually new. Hatterene is new, but Clodsire and Grimmsnarl are not. So
I wonder what kind of whack-ass Hatterene set this is gonna be.
It's definitely not gonna be something fucking something conventional. And then Isaac, we've seen Zeraora, we've seen Gallade, and we've seen fucking Porygon 2 in every match. Here's Gallade, Talonflame. And then week 2, Isaac had Lapras and Garchomp. So yeah, these are all repeats Pokemon for Isaac with 1 newcomer for Drake.
Not necessarily a bad thing. As we've seen before with previous players, repeating your team isn't necessarily a weakness, as, if it works, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, Right. And plus, it's good to keep going with what you're confident in, or what you're confident is the best mons that you've picked in your draft.
Yeah, absolutely. There's also just a lot of value in not revealing your cards. And the biggest thing about Pokemon is a lot of these mons are just really flexible. Picking flexible Pokemon is far more advantageous than picking Pokemon that just do one thing and do it really, really fucking well. And I think we'll hopefully see some of that. Like I said, I had to watch this match live because of the problematic natures with it. So I'm not going to really be commentating much on it. So I will hand it over to you, Trevor. Put this on slow, and you ready to start? Or you want to talk about their mons first?
All I'm saying is, please be a normal Corviknight set with the drink. No way! Okay, let's get this Magic School Bus on the fucking road.
Okay, let's see what we got. We got Gallade.
As we start off, Gallade and Grimmsnarl. Come on, man.
That's fucked up. Oh, we already got Reflect being set up.
Mm-hmm. Classic Drake having a Mon specifically for setting up screens. Before it's been a Meowstic, but I believe the last battle specifically it was also Grimmsnarl.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then we're gonna see.
Oh, okay. No. That's not a bad thing. This is the same set that Drake had before with Trick.
Oh, Trick. Yeah, and switching the item. Very interesting that he didn't immediately switch the item out. It might be, like I said before, they had a few fights, so they probably know each other's sets at this point, and it might be that Drake just doesn't want whatever item Gallade has.
And keep in mind, even with that Reflect up, Sacred Sword did almost half damage, so it might be better just to do that so that Grimmsnarl is able to stay up for at least another turn, or is able to pivot to something that could take a Sacred Sword, perhaps Tornadus.
For sure.
If Drake decides to. Goes for Parting Shot, just as I thought, but more of a pivot instead of just a raw switch. And like I said, the second place killer Tornadus up here, taking a reflected Sacred Sword, almost nothing.
Second place killer is kind of a fire name, I'm not gonna lie.
Yo, for real.
Okay.
Isaac pivoting out to Zero Aura as Drake hits the nasty plot.
Okay, but this is a good nasty plot.
I don't know if they're really gonna stay in here versus Zero Aura though, because I don't remember what kind of moves that Tornadus can run that would be able to hit Zero Aura hard enough.
I guess we're about to find out. Plasma Fist, it's this. I mean, of course it goes first, but it survives it. Jesus.
Thanks to the Reflect, I would assume, because that's being a physical attack and all.
Right. Psychic almost gets the KO,
enough.
And Life Orb seems to take him out.
That's still a lot of damage, though. Luckily, not a thought. The Clodsire comes up on the screen, gets knocked off, but no big deal. As Zero Aura falls to Life Orb, I'm assuming, a Drake confidently sets up some Toxic Spikes.
Yep. Setting up some Toxic Spikes. Have we seen Drake set up hazards? Yeah, in first match he set up a lot of hazards, if I remember correctly.
Their entire Clodsire set was only hazards. What are you talking about?
That's right, yeah. I mean, that was 2 weeks ago. Am I supposed to remember all of these fucking... Come on, let's count them real quick. 8 players, 6 people. Yeah, that's what I fucking thought. That's what I fucking thought. That's what I fucking thought.
As they've learned from last time and actually have an attacking move this set with Chilling Water, however, it's not really doing much besides weakening the Talonflame a bit, as that Flare Blitz did half damage, even to Clodsire. But now we're switching out to Corviknight on the Talonflame, which is very, very risky unless he wants to cheat and use the Terrastalize. He might get hit by a really strong Flare Blitz and survives it super well. Talonflame being super physically bulky, but gets burned in the long run.
Yeah, Corviknight is incredibly bulky. I don't think that this is actually a bad switch at all. Talonflame doesn't have a high attack stat at all, if I remember correctly. If we look at Talonflame right here...
is it mostly its speed that I'm worried about? Yeah, its attack isn't actually that strong.
81 against Corviknight with incredible defense. I'm not entirely sure what this does here. The burn is definitely unfortunate depending on what Drake is doing. That name is disgusting. Fuck you.
I mean, Drake might still have the Steel Beam set. I mean, I don't know if they're going to reveal it right here because I'm not sure if a Steel type move is the best idea here. However,
well, let's go ahead and see.
I don't know what's going to happen.
Bulk up. Okay, it's not Nasty Play.
Bulk up. Okay. We're physical this time. Probably has Body Press in the back, which would be ideal considering that burn factoring against Corviknight's offense. But I believe Body Press is calculated on the Pokemon's defensive stat. Is that correct?
That's correct. But the problem with burn is burn does not halve the Pokemon's defensive stats. Burn halves the power of physical moves. Body Press will still be halved.
Straight up, it do not matter. Understood.
Yep. So depending on if Drake uses Body Press or something else, that's going to really decide that anyways. I mean, Body Press would absolutely be the best choice, but not a lot of Pokemon really take damage from it.
It looks like Drake's staying in with Corviknight. Really confident in getting the second bulk up in as Talonflame Flare Blitzes and only does 25% health.
Using Protect, most likely to heal, but unfortunately it doesn't really matter because of leftovers only healing 6% versus burn 6%. So he's going to be stuck at 41% pretty much until he takes damage again.
Well, luckily Drake should be able to hit a roost here. Even if Talonflame goes first, it doesn't really do all too much damage to that Talonflame. Being +2 defense really helps here, and Talonflame being -1 really hurts it. As Drake tries to set up a substitute, but does not have enough health to do it, so we revealed almost the entirety of Drake's set on this Corviknight, and I'm not anticipating a Steel Beam this time. Goes for the Flare Blitz again. Low roll does not kill. Hopefully Drake will win for the Roost this time as opposed to, say, a double protector. So he goes for the body slam. Body slam. That is interesting. Gets the para, which is nice and all, but unfortunately, unless a miracle happens, I believe Corviknight's going to fall this next turn.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really... I mean, he could get the para off, but not really a reason to be using Protect at this point. I think this thing is sacrificed or it just goes away. Ooh, yeah, and that Roost definitely helps Talonflame survive a little bit longer.
Smart read by Isaac there. As, like you said, the leftovers and the burn overlap each other and kind of cancel each other out. Talonflame goes for the Roost, which gives Drake the opportunity to Roost if they did.
Well, they don't have Roost, unfortunately. Their 4 moves are revealed. Bad. Yeah, this is not a Roost set at all. It looks like this is an offensive Corviknight, surprisingly. I mean, substitute Protect, that means that he can actually recover with leftovers, but unfortunately getting the burn means that Drake is unable to actually push forward. All he can do is attack and get a paralysis, which is exactly what it did. Corviknight did its job, and I think Drake is just waiting for it to die.
Interesting that Isaac is continuing to stay in and using that those Roost PPs, because I'm not I feel like this is kind of a threat that you should take down at this point. As speak of the devil, Flare Blitz takes down the Corviknight, keeping Talonflame at a decently healthy 76%. Unfortunately, still full parried.
Yeah, no paras yet, so I mean, he's definitely got that going for him. Drake sends out Grimmsnarl, most likely to use, Trick.
Here's the Trick. That's... Okay, I guess Drake decided they did not want to take any residual damage from that Black Sludge as they switch off to the Talonflame. You know, I suppose they were confident that they could survive one attack from the Talonflame, it still being -1. So it would Trick, deal more residual damage, and then, Parting Shot, which is a smarter pivot. I probably would have gone for something more risky like a Reflect or a Light Screen, but that's why I would have lost this battle. Unlike Drake, who's sending out the Cloudsire, who's going to easily tank this -2 nothing because the Talonflame is paralyzed.
Ooh. So, I mean, now it's... You know what? I mean, unfortunately, like, this does not survive... I mean, it maybe survives a... there goes the Roost. Maybe this does survive a Flare Blitz, but not very well at 30%. Minus half attack on Talonflame is kind of whatever. But I think Drake just gets set up for free, at least for a little bit, depending on how many paras this poor guy gets. Oh yeah, he only gets to take 1 more hit, so the next hazards he sets up better be important.
Say, is this Cloudsire unaware? Because I believe that Flare Blitz did 25% last time, but Talonflame was not -2 last time. Is that how unaware works?
That would be how unaware works, yeah. It ignores all status changes, so maybe it is unaware.
I would assume so, because that did a lot of damage. Oh, no, actually, I'm wrong. I think it did 50 last time, so maybe it's water.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It dropped it under half. So that means it's definitely Water Absorb. Talonflame is slowly dying to that, but we'll see how it manages to fare.
Comes out.
Winking emoji, Jesus.
Now, knowing Drake, this is going to be some like crazy Calm Mind or Nasty Plod, Moonblast set or something. I don't think I'm going to see Nuzzle on this thing. Here comes the substitute. As I said, it's going to start setting up here on this Talonflame that's -2 attack and paralyzed with so many hazards on the screen. Drake might be down 3 mons, but is very well set up to win given a proper snowball, as Isaac is not confident in a half-health Talonflame or even switching out, going for the Roost to fully heal up, and here comes Drake Calm Minding up behind that substitute.
Yeah, I think switching out would have been Isaac's best move because he still has plenty more Pokemon, right? Getting his stat boost back up would be the best possible move. I don't even know if Flare Blitz breaks through that. See? Yeah, if it had full power, it probably would have. Drake is just spamming Calm Mind.
You know, like I said, Drake's really setting themselves up for a victory here just by sitting behind that little doll and just emptying their mind. There's the full para. Isaac still stays in with the Talonflame. Drake going for another Calm Mind? Yet they do. Now +3 behind a sub. It's getting real dangerous for the other team. However, Isaac does have one advantage in this pretty precarious scenario in that... what is it? Hatterene's speed isn't very fast. So hopefully, even if they do set up too much and become kind of a threat, luckily a strong physical attacker might be able to break through this this really set up monster as the as the second Flare Blitz breaks the substitute, and Drake continues Calm Minding it up. Another Flare Blitz on the Hatterene only does 25%. It's really not that much damage, and yet Isaac persists and stays in.
Another substitute comes out. Yep.
Half health does do not matter.
It makes a lot of sense too. Like you said, Hatterene is a very slow Pokemon. 20 base speed, 56 is its lowest possible speed. Substitute after being attacked is actually pretty smart. Banking on the Paralyze, maybe that is exactly what happened here. And now he gets to attack if he wants to with Drain. Oh my god, not Drain.
Ooh, that is dangerous because the recovery is really going to assist Hatterene in the long game right now, as it's just beginning, baby. Isaac is now down to 4 Pokemon. I almost said 5, can't count. 4 Pokemon, so let's see what's going to come out to deal with this +3/+3 monster right now.
Yep.
Whatever it is, I hope it's got the designer boots, as this Lapras does not, because it comes in with the Lumberry, though, healing the toxic poison, which is very helpful in this very specific scenario. Still taking quite a bit of damage from the rocks. Smart Pear Song grabs the Hatterene from behind that substitute, says, "You're gonna die. Your motherfucking life ends in 3 turns." And Drake does not care, going for another Calm Mind, opting to possibly do as much damage as they can, or perhaps switch out in the 3rd turn, as is classic to do during the Calm Mind. Isaac going for the Protect, just going full defensive, anticipating a Draining Kiss from Drake. Very smart. Stalling on another turn. Classic Lapras move.
Ooh, I got it really slow. Hold on, let's speed that up a little.
Just a little bit.
Not the double protect.
Not the double protect. But it do not matter. Here comes a Draining Kiss. That still did a lot of damage, but not enough to kill, because Lapras is pretty bulky. Perish the next turn, so we're going to see who stays in and who leaves right now.
Yeah, that's the real question. Looks like they both switch out.
Oh, it smelled like bitch in here. Oh, Lapras goes for the triple protect. Perish now.
That bitch is out of here, man.
Here comes Gallade, taking lots of damage. Well, not lots of damage, but mostly the toxic poison, and also getting that -1 attack from the parting shot as Drake pivots right on back to Hatterene. No Lapras Perish Song to stop it now. It might just start setting up again. So going to have to see what Gallade does.
Oh. My bad. My bad, y'all. I'm eating ice cream right now. Shout out to
Go on.
Shout out to Photon Debugger for getting me ice cream.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you're allowed to have some time off right now. You said you already watched this match. I got it. It's just when you pause it, I can't do anything. As Drake sets up the substitute, Isaac opting to switch out to Porygon 2, wanted to get Porygon 2 toxic instead, and goes for their own toxic, which would not penetrate the substitute, and even if it did, Hatterene's Magic Bounce prevents it from being toxic. Just really dangerous mon to set up with.
I just want to say that's a very smart pick on Drake's part. A Magic Bounce Pokemon against the guy has brought Porygon several times in.
That's true, because this thing's whole gimmick is to come in, toxic you, and then just kind of recover off of it, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much.
We're seeing another uphill battle here. I'm assuming you said there were a few battles. What are they cooking? Perhaps a misclick, or maybe they're banded or something. But interesting plays on both. Oh no, it could just be going for the sack as Porygon 2 goes down, reducing Isaac to 2 more mons. Gallade barely takes any damage from the rocks. Goes for a Leaf Blade, which will fade the substitute. Drake opting for the Draining Kiss, though, knocking out Gallade, leaving only 1 mon on Isaac's team, which is Garchomp. It's now toxic. It's taking damage from the rocks. And Drake has both a Screen Setter and Weavile in the back. So even if Isaac is able to take out... Nope, just kidding. Draining Kiss is a Fairy-type move and deals with Garchomp immediately. You said there were a few matches before this, but I want to assume that Drake was not able to set up with Hatterene beforehand because... Goodness, it seemed like Isaac didn't know what to do during that battle. So as Hatterene takes the clean sweep.
Something interesting is the second match that they did, exactly how Drake won with Hatterene. So I think it was just an unfortunate case. Like I said, these guys had 5 battles total, and out of those 5 battles, Drake won 4 of them. The only one that Isaac won was after he had Isaac terrestrialized for 2 of them. But one of the battles that he won, he managed to terrestrialize at a really good time. And I think that because the rules were broken, what Drake told me, I talked to them about this, they told me that they kind of just gave up on the fight because they figured, well, it's not going to count because he terrestrialized.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, at that point, I would just stop the battle.
Of course, that's what everyone is supposed to do in that situation. People aren't going to do that. Some people just enjoy battling, which, by the way, while the rules state you guys need to stop as soon as I'm not going to make you guys stop. Fighting is fun. Battling is fun. I know that if I was in this sort of situation and my opponent broke the rules, I would say, let's just continue the battle just because I want to battle.
Plus, it helps you get that extra data you might need to get a win on in
and
the
that's
next fight.
That's also another thing. Yeah, like you can use that time, even though you know that battle counts for you, you can use that to get data. So if you're the player that cheated, your best play is to fucking end the battle there. You don't want to give your opponent data. As a player, that's what Drake thrives off. It's knowing stuff, being able to know it. And I think after battling several times against Isaac, I think Hatterene just wins him the game. That said, even though this is their 4th battle, Isaac took out 3 of Drake's Pokemon. Still pretty good. I don't think this guy can be completely underestimated.
Right, as this is only game 1 in the official sets. And let's move on to game 2 so we can see how this really goes ahead, you know?
All right, and this time we'll see it from the perspective of Drake. By the way, Drake, aside from nastiest pot on your core, fire names.
Oh, no, that's a good name. Man, we're being biased as hell.
Yeah.
As you're coming to the store, Junior. Oh.
You know what?
You're right, but I'm hurt.
You know what? I respect it because they could have gone for Chen Pao Jr. and that would have broken a rule.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Does Drake opts to lead off with the Weavile and Isaac leading off with Garchomp, which, not great for Garchomp.
I mean,
however, you know.
That depends, right? Like, Ice Shard does not kill Garchomp, and then it deals damage because of Rough Skin, and then Garchomp can get the KO on Weavile. This is not a 100% advantageous situation for Weavile. That said, if Triple Axle hits more than once, it's Jover.
Well, yeah.
But the question is Drake running triple? Yeah,
Yeah, of course they are.
Oh.
As the Rough Skin does additional damage. Oh, and that second hit does so much.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Triple Axle deals more damage consecutively. Glade comes out, and I'm wondering, they don't seem to stay.
Switching out to Clodsire.
Sacred Sword comes out, deals.
That still doesn't
41%. Goodness gracious. Sacred Sword is a good move.
Mm-hmm. Isaac opting to stay in because, honestly, 40 is pretty good. Even if this thing recovers or T-spikes or whatever, honestly, just keep swinging that sword. Keep dealing damage. As here comes Hatterene, the threat. Sacred Sword doing a decent amount of damage. The question is, does Isaac bank for the crit for a Leaf Blade? Nope, going straight out to Zeraora. As we're probably going to see Hatterene go for the substitute. Yep, it's beginning to set up, folks. Zeraora is poisoned thanks to the one layer of Toxic Spites. So let's see. Goes for the knockoff. Pretty smart. Loses some HP from the Life Orb. As Hatterene goes for the Draining Kiss, recovering any HP that it lost using Substitute beforehand.
Mm-hmm. Now the question is, Drake switches out to...
Oh, this is smart, actually, as it's going to knock off its own Black Sludge.
Wow, that is incredibly clever. Actually predicting the follow-up knockoff to get rid of Sledge is incredibly smart playing.
Mm-hmm.
Setting up Reflect against Zeraora while it faints is actually also really smart since most of its Pokemon seem to be doing physical damage. These two specifically.
Makes more sense than doing a parting shot and pivoting out to something that might not be able to take a Plasma Fists.
Mm-hmm.
Goes for the trick, does not want nothing anymore, and takes some boots for the road, as Talonflame is now very susceptible to Stealth Rocks.
He's definitely using Parting Shot here, switching out to a different Pokemon. Wonder who? Corviknight? Yep.
Here comes Corviknight, yep. We've seen this fight before. We know how it goes. Flare Blitz, not enough damage behind the Reflect, and a -1.
And here he sets up subs, right? Sets up subs so it takes less damage from with the Reflect, and then you can get the bulk up. Oh, no, looks like they're just going straight up for the bulk up.
Might as well just take less damage in general.
Yeah, fair. I mean, unless you get hit by the crit.
That's true. Isaac might be banking on that because they're, again, staying in, very adamant with this Talonflame. As the Reflect goes down, it was revealed already that Grimmsnarl does not have the Light Clay. It, in fact, had Black Sludge.
Yep.
Drake's still going for the bulk ups now behind the substitute, which only took a little bit of damage from that flare blitz. Maybe one more flare blitz will break it, but Drake goes for the protect to get that maximum amount of leftovers recovery. And also, just waste a little bit of Isaac's time here.
Mm-hmm.
Flip it again. That fades the substitute. See if Drake cares about this. Either goes for another bulk up. Now at +3 attack and defense, it's taking very little damage from this flare blitz as Isaac still stays in. Drake going for the protect, blocking more damage, healing more, the classic.
And he's most likely going to set up substitute now for sure, right? At this point, it's only doing 16, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that sub might be able to survive 2 or 3 hits at this point.
Not to mention the protect recovery that he can pull off for a bit. Yep.
Speak of the devil. Yeah, I'm wondering if the incident with Talonflame this game and last game with Isaac, and also just having to deal with Hatterene last game, I wonder if it's just a factor of Isaac realizing that he doesn't have the tools necessary to deal with this sort of setup on his team.
It's
and
possible.
It's just sort of banking for a critical hit to have anything be happen, because Talonflame can't be toxic, Hatterene can't be toxic. So what are you gonna do? Oh, as Drake actually gets the critical hit, instant.
That crit's super duper mattered. Oh my god, that crit mattered so much. Oh, let's see what's gonna happen now. Sacred Sword. I think it
does break the sub.
And I'm pretty sure Sacred Sword actually does kill now because it does target special defense. So Corviknight with the 2.5 defense doesn't mean anything against this.
Well, let's see if Isaac reads this, because if I were Drake, I'd be going for the protect right now. Yep, that's right. Yep,
and getting the poison off to finish him off. Yep, makes a lot of sense.
Unfortunately, I would assume the Gallade is choice, so it can't really do much in this scenario except for die and fall to the next victim of Corviknight's rampage. We've decided today it is Lapras. Lumberry, get rid of that poison.
Here comes the slam.
Let's see if we're going to go for the Pear Song this time. Yep, Pear Song, just to be sure.
We know that Drake has the ball, so just stay in. Does not care about the song until the very last second, if at all.
Yeah, whereas Isaac seems to be pretty stubborn on staying in, as we saw from the last game, and in this game also stalling out a turn with Protect. I'm honestly surprised that Drake isn't going for bulk ups just because. As we're going to Paris the next turn. Let's see both players switch, as Drake, of course, switches out to Hatterene. And Isaac actually does switch this time, going out to Porygon 2. Hopefully he understands this time that Toxic is not going to work. Goes for their own substitute underneath the poison, though, which might be a problem. Drain Kiss does not deal enough damage to kill the Porygon 2 substitute, so that's pretty good for Isaac right now. Goes for the cover, make sure they're topped off, as I'm sure Drake is going to go for a Calm Mind instead of a substitute. That's interesting. I don't actually remember what offensive move this Porygon 2 is running right now.
Actually, it doesn't have any offensive move. All it has is Toxic, Recover, Protect. Substitute, Recover, Toxic, and it has one more move, which I think is Protect. But no, we saw last time it couldn't do anything against this Pokemon, against Hatterene, and I think that's just how it's going to be. This time he has the advantage of not having Toxic spikes on the opposing side of the field. But I don't really think Drake cares very much.
No, I wouldn't either. I don't know if this Porygon 2 can do anything to this Hatterene without having Toxic. It seems like Isaac is really flailing right now. I'm not really sure what the plan is, to be frank. Continues going for Recover as though he's Choice Scarf or something. Gets Draining Kiss for 75% of his health. And that poison's ticking down too.
Well, we know what this... Yeah, that's his fourth move. We know that this mon is running Eviolite. I mean, that's what Porygon 2 always runs.
Right.
But unfortunately,
it's
just...
banking on the Toxic strat.
It's not enough. Another Protect for some reason. I mean, I guess at that point, it's a case of, what is he going to do, right? He's going to send out Lapras, it's going to get poisoned, and that's game.
Yeah. Goes to the Freeze Dry. Does not deal nearly enough damage as Drake goes to the Draining Kiss and 6-0s Isaac in game 2.
Yep. And that's that. And like I said before, I saw the matches. I saw 2 out of those 5 matches. I have only got a description from Drake about the match where he lost. They didn't save it because it didn't count. And the other 2 matches, what happened was Drake posted the room pretty much immediately after, and rooms only stay up for 15 minutes. I managed to see it. I went in, I saw the room, and I saw the match, right? You can watch the match. You can't do next turn or any of that shit, but you can watch the match from beginning to end or whatever.
Right.
So I saw the first 2 matches. And just as a quick descriptor, in the first match, Drake ended with all 6 Pokemon. In the second one, he ended with 5 Pokemon.
Jeez. It's a dominating lead.
And in neither matches did we actually see Tornadus do much. It was.
Did we even see? Oh wait, we did see his nickname. Never mind.
Yeah, it was. What was it?
Second place champion or something.
Second place killer. Yeah. And reference.
Right,
I think it's a reference to Zach. It's the Pokemon with the second most KOs. Not anymore, I don't think.
Oh no, I'm interested to see how those stats will update.
Yep. But yeah,
Goodness.
we got to see good showing from Drake for sure. Bringing in a new Pokemon and showing off exactly what this Pokemon is good at doing.
Yeah, some very dominating games from Drake. Not many goofy mons this match, which is almost feels a little bit unprecedented from Drake, because I feel like obviously the second week is a little fresher in my mind with the Steel Beam Corviknight, but what did they have in the last one? They had
in the first match, I don't remember them having anything goofy.
Oh no, never mind. It's just the Corviknight. I must have been thinking of someone else then.
Yeah.
Meowstic's a little weird, but not really.
Yeah, no, I mean it fits Drake's style. Drake's style is very clearly about oppressing the opponent. It's putting the opponent in disadvantage. And that's what they did this entire game and the previous game. We saw it. Even after losing 3 Pokemon, we still saw them put themselves in a state of sheer advantage where the opponent couldn't do anything. And constantly putting themselves in state of advantages. The play where they switched their Grimmsnarl in just to get rid of the sludge, just to take away the boots from Talonflame. If Talonflame had switched out, it would have been it wouldn't have been poison, of course, but if rocks had been up, that's a whole different ballpark. And I think that's just clever. Being able to be aware of what situation your Pokemon is in, I think shows the prowess of Drake as a player.
Absolutely.
Which brings us over to our next match. Oh, that is the wrong one. Let's go ahead and watch Derpologist 4 versus K-Web next.
All right. Looking at the teams right now, I'm seeing some familiar mons on both sides right now, as Derpologist is now opting in for a Sableye, Cantonian Muck, and Malamar, which is very interesting. Famously a contrary Pokemon with access to superpower, and I'm not sure what else it has access to, but pretty interesting choice on Derpologist's side. Continues to go with the classic Gliscor, and is very confident in the Hisuian Electrode and Houndoom as well. The Hisuian Electrode definitely put in a lot of work in the last week. I'm not sure too much about the Houndoom, but it's been a little bit. I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean the Houndoom is a notoriously outdated Pokemon. I know why Matt picked Houndoom in general, and I'm pretty sure that it's one of the mons he does not exactly think of very fondly when talking about his picks. But one of the things again with Matt is he makes do with what he's got, and Gliscor is just a fucking phenomenal Pokemon, probably the second best Pokemon on the field right now, aside from Shaman S, who is just absolutely broken. And Matthew, being as clever of a player he is, we might actually be seeing some very interesting strategies from him. Again, I think Matthew is a very smart player, and I think that his ability to be able to put teams and knowledge into use is going to be eventually what gets him his own points. And Gliscor, Malamar, Electrode are all great Pokemon. Sableye is a great Pokemon as well. Access to Prankster.
Absolutely, I love Prankster on that mon.
Yeah.
It used to be one of my favorite Pokemon.
Yep. I mean, it used to be the premier Prankster user in Generation 5.
Fucking gem goblin.
And then we got Muck, just a nice bulky Pokemon.
What does it do besides be physically defensive, I think?
So Muck is actually very interesting because I don't know. I can actually say no, but like now that you said that, I bet you if we look it up, it's you. No, it's NU. You're safe.
Alolan Muck is UU because I know this thing is good.
No, this thing is fantastic. Yeah, regular Muck is not anywhere near as good as Alolan Muck. I mean, I think it has. Did it have to do? No, it's just.
What abilities are we working on for normal Muck? Stench, Sticky Hold, Toxic, Poison Touch.
I mean, Poison Touch is pretty good, and so is Sticky Hold. Both of those abilities are decent. But meanwhile, down here we have Crocodile, a fucking very fun Pokemon to use.
It's got Moxie. I love that mon.
Yep. We have Shaman, a Pokemon that we've seen him bring for every team, as well as a Primarina, Snorlax, Iron Moth, and Roaring Moon. All of these are. I
almost said Feathermane, Slitherwing at the same time.
All of these are very good Pokemon. All of these are staples in certain generations. Obviously, Crocodile and Snorlax have fallen out significantly, but still perfectly serviceable Pokemon.
Yeah, man, Snorlax used to be the GOAT. Like, you couldn't have a Gen 1 team without a Snorlax on it.
No, you're thinking of Taurus. You couldn't have a Gen 2 Pokemon team without Snorlax. Yeah. Snorlax was the best Pokemon in Gen 2. But in Gen 1, that goes to the guy, the king, the GOAT, Taurus.
And it was fast and just crit every other turn, yeah?
Yeah, and just used Hyper Beam every fucking turn. But yeah, I mean, all of these Pokemon are very good. I think both sides have a solid selection of Pokemon, so I guess it's going to come down to who the better player is.
All right, I'm excited to see what happens. Let's get it started. You got a good luck, have fun from both players. It's a shiny Crocodile who's looking pretty cool right now.
Ooh, the Malamar with the fucking attack boost. Ooh, no Trick Room on his side.
Goes for the superpower right away. Not enough damage to kill, but getting that boost.
That boost will eventually matter. Another superpower to get the power boost up. Does he have a coverage move to deal with Primarina?
That's a good question, because Primarina just going to go for the Moonblast. It does so much damage being a dark type. Going for the Trick Room now.
Switching out to Muck.
This should be able to take a Moonblast, right? Yep, easily.
Absolutely, yeah. Now the question is, does Primarina have coverage for this? Because if so, this will be very easy. But looks like he's sending out the Snorlax.
It beat her.
Hey, Peter. Curse on Snorlax makes a lot of sense there.
Getting the setup, also technically getting faster because of the Trick Room. As long as it's up for another turn.
A good option on Muck would have been something along the lines of Toxic to really start dealing damage. Of course, we know that Danny likes using his rest, but Haze.
He's on Matt's side. Very smart play to have in the back in the back there. Now going for poison jabs freely to deal nice neutral +0 damage, as Snorlax does have Earthquake in the back. Not enough to kill this Muck, but going for the rest now. Like you said, classic Danny play. Going back to full health and taking the risk of being asleep for a couple of turns, but they seem confident staying in.
See, here's the question though. If he had switched back to Malamar, he could have set up another Trick Room real quick, right? This thing, we know that every time Danny runs this thing with rest, he never runs a berry, which means there's 2 turns that you can do anything. And if he switches, there's only 1 turn. But that's still 1 free turn. And that's the thing, right? Like rest is a decent move. It's not as good as it used to be. Because now switching being so invaluable and there being so many ways to be able to, get back into position using U-turn, stuff like that, all you have to do is switch out and use 1 setup move. Your opponent is either sleeping, staying in, which, free superpower, or they're switching out, which Trick Room.
And like you said, one free turn to do whatever you want is really powerful. I mean, that's the reason that Slacking's not maybe the best mon in the game, because every other turn you get to do whatever the hell you want.
Exactly, yeah. Your opponent can set up, you can do so much shit. And unfortunately,
not opting for that.
Unless this poison jab crits, there's nothing Matt can really do except take this EQ. He might poison jab again, but Danny, if he's smart, he'll switch out.
Switches out to Crocodile, who will be able to resist this. Yep, resists, not doing that much damage. Gets the poison, though.
That very valuable poison, though. He does need to switch out because he is going to get hit by Earthquake, and he switches out to a Gliscor. Absolutely smart play. Oh, but he goes for the knockoff
just goes for the knockoff, the crit.
Ooh, kidding.
Hacho Berry. Hey, what's that berry do?
Let's find out, my friend. That might be one of the, it halves damage taken from a super effective water attack. Very smart on Gliscor.
Oh, interesting. Matt's always got such interesting items on these sets.
Yeah, absolutely. Defog to get rid of the hazards is definitely smart. He sets up rocks. Acrobatics does kill.
Ooh, that's good because now it's he gets that extra damage boost from the acrobatic since he's lost his berry.
Mm-hmm.
Or was planning to eat it eventually. Going down to the Shaman though, because this thing is a fucking monster. Danny not willing to stay in on that, even though Houndoom is probably slower.
Yeah, Houndoom is not just slower. It probably, I don't know if it dies to anything Shaman could do, depending on whether it has like Air Slash. The proper right, the proper HP will deal with Houndoom, but then again, Houndoom is not exactly like a weak Pokemon. It's got a decent special attack, if I remember correctly.
Unless... If it's got anything, it's got special attack, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, 110. Yeah, not that bad actually. Not getting the read, but that's absolutely fine. I think Hidden Power comes out. Hidden Power, most likely Electric or Grass.
Possibly, yeah.
Maybe even Poison.
I suppose. Yeah.
Malamar comes out, most likely a Sack, because this doesn't take Moonblast very well.
No, it does not. Up and now, probably to go out to Electrode. Yep, that's what I thought. Something's going to take this Chloroblast, and it's going to be Peter. Volt Switch instead. Very smart play from Matt.
Gets the read off it.
Going back out to Sableye now.
Most likely a taunt, right? Bulk Up on Sableye.
Up. Oh, on the rest. Ooh,
and that's a free Bulk Up for a while. Now let's see what Matt's cooking with this.
Couple Bulk Ups.
Yeah.
What is this thing running that's going to be able to take out Snorlax though? Because I'm thinking of like what it could run, and all I'm thinking of is like Shadow Claw, and that's not going to hit Snorlax.
Now here's the question too: like, does this thing have enough attack? Yeah, it has a decent enough attack where it can.
I mean, it's going to be decent enough at +3. That's the thing.
Right, of course. +4 too.
+4. Mm-hmm.
I mean, this thing can't do any damage to it. You can curse all you want, but ultimately, it's just going to be a thing of Encore.
Encore! Oh my god!
Wait, is he running Foul Play? Because if so, that's actually pretty big.
Still going for Bulk Up now, though. Really setting up now. Drain Punch? This thing gets Drain Punch?
I did not know that.
Doesn't do nearly as much as I thought it would do, but still, that's a lot of damage. Looks like it's a Life Orb set, as it takes a little bit of damage as well, but the Drain Punch definitely takes a...
Ooh, he should have used Encore again.
Yeah, just to be safe. As now Snorlax might go for EQ. It doesn't really do that much damage. Goes for the Drain Punch again to guarantee that Snorlax goes down. It heals just a little bit of health. As now Sableye is what is that? +4, +5.
Ooh,
doesn't want to fuck around and finds out. Switches to Houndoom and sacks it.
Dazzling Gleam. Yep, that would have. Actually, wait. Does Sableye take super effective damage from Dazzling Gleam? It's weak to it. Yep, absolutely. It's the only thing it's weak to. Yeah. That's right. I forget. The Dark Ghost is only weak to Fairy.
Hyper
Beam?
Here comes Hyper Beam drinking the Monster Energy. Hyper Beam, interesting. As it's now Dragon Dancing on that recharge. Ooh, not looking good for Matt right now. Aftermath.
Ooh,
that
very
didn't do as
smart.
much noise as I thought, though. Ooh, now we might be looking at a Roaring Moon sweep right now, unless Muck can make a miracle happen, but I really don't think that's going to happen as Matt's final Pokemon falls down. Interesting plays from both of these players. Just a few mistakes away, though, from a win there.
No, I think Matt switching out Sableye was definitely what caused him to lose that game there. I mean, yeah, Sableye doesn't have a very high special defense, right? That's the thing. It's most likely not going to survive anything that Shaman throws out, and I think that was Matt's fear, rightfully so. 65 special defense doesn't really do much. So, I mean, I guess it ultimately depends on what his last move was. Can Sableye learn Shadow Sneak?
I believe it can, yeah.
Yeah, because if it was running Shadow Sneak, then it wouldn't have to worry about anything. That much stats, let's calc it. Sableye. And I'm going to go ahead and use... I'm going to use its defensive stats, right? I want to see something.
Glad to see Matt picking up the slack that Drake left on the ground and pulling out some wacky sets that are pretty effective so far.
Yeah, absolutely. No, for sure. Shaman, Sky, Uber Special Attacker, right? That's what it runs.
Shadow Sneak only does 15, but this is the defensive set. So at +5, it still does 50%. Not bad. However, a Seed Flare would take it down
in one hit, yeah. It's also worth noting, let's see what would have happened if this was plus attack, which is most likely what we saw, right?
Still not a kill with Shadow Sneak.
Damn, that's a damn shame. It also had Life Orb, though, which I still don't think it would have made much of a difference.
No.
Unless it was Adamant, of course. Damn!
Damn!
No, Matt made the right play switching then, because damn, nothing it did would kill Shaman. Very surprising. Shaman, not the bulkiest Pokemon, but unfortunately, this is just not the strongest Pokemon.
Let's move on to game 2 now, all right?
Yep. All right, let's see. Oh, wait, hold on, never mind. I just realized. He could have gotten the Shadow Sneak Off, plus, if he had Shadow Sneak Off, or Shadow Sneak Off, even though it would have died, it would have also killed Shaman because of recoil. But this is a new game, so let's go ahead and see it. Immediately sent out Houndoom against Crocodile. Seems Crocodile is always a lead, yep. Will-O-Wisp missed.
Oh, misses
that
the
matters.
Will-O-Wisp.
That matters so much.
This Houndoom goes down to 1 Earthquake. Easy peasy. Here comes Gliscor, though. I think it was running Defog before, so let's see if it's going to go for that. Not going to be able to eat its Pasho Berry for the second time. That's a damn shame. Another knockoff from the Crocodile, which is interesting because it's going to deal a lot less damage now that Gliscor is not holding an item.
Looks like he wants to keep Crocodile alive as much as possible.
Wow, that Acrobatics actually does a lot to just Snorlax.
And Gliscor just dealing dummy damage. Unfortunately, I've said it before, not in these videos, but as nice as it is on Gliscor to have the Pasho Berry, I get it, you know? Those berries are incredibly situational, and Gliscor is a Pokemon that does not like situations. You know, it is a Pokemon that thrives on neutral. And that's why 99% of the time, every single meta it's ever been, whether it be UU, OU, Ubers, AG, it runs Toxic Heal. It's
even with those wacky ass facade sets that I've been seeing nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, of course, that's why it runs them.
As we're going out to Electrode now, going for the it has Giga Drain this time. Interesting, very smart way to stay in the match without losing too much health. Here comes Iron Moth for the first time though. Definitely a threat to this Electrode, so Matt is smartly switching out to Sableye. Survives the Fire Dance and unfortunately gets the boost. This thing is quarked up and +2 now. So it's gonna be tough right now, unless Matt has something to deal with this. D-Gleam comes out, insta-kills Malamar. Oh, this is looking like a landslide. That's the set right there. And that's the problem right there. Matt's already lost in his mind. As Electrode also falls down, and here comes Muck. Not entirely falling to the Fire Dance, but another +1 to the Iron Moth, as Muck doesn't really have anything to deal with this, as Muck will also go down to the Fire Dance, and that is game 2 for Dantana.
Damn. Very unfortunate there for Matt. Yeah, I mean, the Sableye was definitely very cool. I really like seeing the Sableye, but unfortunately, I think Electrode was very cool as well. Good games overall.
That's Pokemon sometimes.
Yep, it really is. But still, good game from Derpologist, a good game from Dantana, both are K-Web, which brings us to the next game, Photon Divagar versus Ace. This is another one that I already saw. So I'm not really going to commentate much on it.
All right, I'll try to pick up the slack here then. As we're looking at the teams right now, never mind, we just started with a good luck, have fun to both sides, as we have a Keldeo versus a Samurott in the lead. Both Mons that kind of resist what they want to do. Zeus playing smart and immediately switching out, though, as Keldeo goes for the smart and safe Scald on just whatever comes in, confident that their opponent was going to switch and not them. Now there's a problem, though, with this Dragapult on the field. This thing is fast, this thing is strong, and it's dropping Dracos on whatever it wants. However, this Volcarona is very bulky as it takes a Shadow Ball and a Draco Meteor, now setting up Tailwind.
Yeah.
Possibly especially defensive?
Well, actually, in general, Dragapult does nothing to Volcarona. That's why Volcarona got banned in Generation 9 OU.
I didn't know that.
Volcarona has generally decent high special defense. I believe it is base 100, which, if you don't know this, base 100 special defense is ridiculous for a Pokemon with that level of power.
For a Pokemon that learns Quiver Dance.
Exactly, right? And that's ultimately what it comes down to. It's just definitely sending this out on Dragapult is always the right play.
As we can see, go for Toxic now, so it's definitely a defensive set. It misses the Toxic, though. Dragapult opting to pivot out into something else that looks like Cerule Edge this time. This Mon still does not have a 3D model for itself as it Shadow Sneaks and kills the Volcarona, putting it down to 5-6. Going back out to old reliable Keldeo, probably going to bust off a Scald, instantly killing that Cerule Edge. It is not sashed. It is now 5-5, and we'll see what Zeus sends out next as the Tailwind is gone for Photon's team. Torterra coming out. Photon feeling it smart to send out their Lurantis as Torterra is setting up that Shell Smash. Oh my god, wait, what happened? Oh, the white herb made all the defenses that were going to go down not. What the hell?
Yeah,
I never seen that before.
You never seen Shell Smash White Herb? That's common.
Yeah, I just never seen it for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, damn, this Torterra is now +2 across the board as luckily Fafnir, the Appleton. Appleton is able to eat Heavy Slam and go for its own Dragon Tail to get Torterra off the board. Doesn't matter if it's Insist, doesn't matter at all. Melmetal comes out. Here's the double Iron Bash threat as it goes for what I said. Does not kill Appleton, though. We'll see what Appleton goes for now. The Leech Seed gets some of that health back. I don't know if it's a Protect or if it also runs like Synthesis or Slack Off or something, because if it doesn't, it's going down. Just kidding. Here we go. Out to Excadrill, possibly to tank this double Iron Bash. This still has a lot. Excadrill's a pretty... Ooh, the crit almost kills Excadrill, but luckily it resists that Steel-type move, being a Steel type itself. Now, I think it's faster than... Yep, it's absolutely faster. Goes for the Rapid Spin to get another speed boost. Maybe anticipating that Zeus would go for a switch, because now the Excadrill dies to the double Iron Bash. It's now 4-5. Back out. Oh, reliable Keldeo. Probably going to shoot out a Scald on whatever the hell it wants. Comes Dragapult, though. Secret Sword instead, which is, not a very risky play with a Ghost type on the opponent's type side of the team. Photon going back out to Appletime, which should go down to the Shadow Ball. Very unfortunate, very unfortunate. Now 3v5. But we got some strong mons in Photon's pocket as Latios comes out. Dragapult is faster than that Dragapult. Possibly a Scarf? I want to assume it is.
It's definitely a Scarf. There's in no world does this ever outspeed it. In fact, just in general, there is not a single Pokemon in this team or in the draft at all that outspeeds Dragapult. It's just.
What about Oh, you know what? I asked this last time. I asked if Electrode was, and I think it's not.
I think Electrode might actually be the only one. Thinking about it, Dragapult.
Because whenever I think about Electrode, I don't think of it doing very much besides being like way too fast and hitting Explosion on my ass and taking out me in main game.
I believe 150 versus 142. Yeah, I mean, like Electrode.
What about Hisuian?
It's the same. They have the same exact stats.
Yeah, 100. It is faster.
I think the only difference in stats is they have the exact same stats. Yeah.
Okay.
Hisuian is the only one, but the problem with Hisuian is it doesn't do anything to it, unfortunately. I don't think it has access to any super effective move, aside from Foul Play, I guess.
Yeah, being a Dragon type, Dragapult would be able to resist Aura Blast, but even like the Hailest of Hail Marys would probably not Oko this fucking threat. Mm-hmm. Oh, you threat.
Yep. Most likely to be the best pseudo ever.
Going back, staying in with the Dragon Pulse, as Ceaseless Edge comes out, super effective damage and putting spikes on the field. Photon Debugger now down to 2 Pokemon. Lurantis and Keldeo, both still very strong Pokemon, should be able to deal with this possibly as Ceaseless Edge comes out again. Second layer of spikes taking out Lurantis. This is looking pretty bad for Photon Debugger as they're down to the last Pokemon. Keldeo taking damage from 2 layers of spikes. Let's see what it could do. Aqua Jet, not going to deal that much damage, but honestly just going for safe damage because Keldeo is much faster and Secret Sword kills Hisuian Samurott instantly, being a Dark type. Here comes Dragonite. Not opting for the E-Speed, but probably going for EQ. Yep, that's going to deal way more damage. The crit hella matters. It does 64%. Not going for E-Speed again. Interesting. But then again, Photon also going for Secret Sword. I'm not sure if that's their best play, but then again, I don't know. I don't really remember what other sets Keldeo runs.
Well, I mean, the problem here is obvious. If Keldeo is going for the same move, there's a reason for that. Keldeo is a Pokemon with a very flexible moveset. Not incredibly flexible, but flexible enough. It's definitely choice.
Right. I want to assume Band because that Latios had Scarf, although I don't know if we have...
No. This is a special attacker. Secret Sword is a special attacking move. It's so Skull.
Specs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does kind of look like Specs damage through the multi-scale like that. Mm-hmm. That crit... I mean, that crit definitely didn't win Zeus the game there, but that mattered a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, too, is, does Secret Sword kill Melmetal at 71? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does. And does it kill Torterra? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does.
Yeah, I think it does.
But the problem is the crit did 64. That's just, remember the crits are they're not double damage, they're 1.5. Mm-hmm. So even, I think 2 Earthquakes still would have killed here, unfortunately. It was a tough situation, but there was a lot of things that happened here, and it was very unfortunate.
That was a close one, though. Good comment by Zeus there. As we get GGs from both sides, and any thoughts, or can we move on to game 2?
Yeah. I mean, I talked about this with Doug, but this is unfortunately not a close game. I mean, the fact of the matter is, Double Earthquake would have killed, and they still had 3 Pokemon left. It's unless it's one bond each, I don't usually count those as close games. But even so, like the thing about this is, both players definitely have a very similar skill level and very similar team building level. And I think that's ultimately it just came down to some unfortunate plays on Photon Debugger's part.
I still probably would have considered it a close game because Photon Debugger, aside from that Dragonite, basically had a win condition in the end there. But
that is
then again, who's to say because Dragonite survived.
Well, yeah, that's the thing too. Like they had a win con, but they couldn't put the win con through. So
right.
That's the thing. That's what will decide a game or not, right? Like if you can have a win con, but it doesn't mean anything unless the win con is actually a win con, you know?
Ooh. Multi-skill doing work as they each trade super effective blows. Latios still Scarf, though, dealing tons of damage with that Dragon Pulse, but not wanting to stay in too much longer. Switching out to Appleton to take that double Iron Bash.
Ooh, yeah, but it's slower.
And unfortunately, that's a sack on the Photon's side because double Iron Bash is a fucking hell of a move. Hitting the Will-O-Wisp. Good shit. This Melmetal is not properly defeated, but definitely held back a bit as Photon is now switching out to Lurantis to possibly set up. Fortunately, with the Ceruledge also coming out, Zeus also had the same idea to set up. Oh, and it's looking like bad news right here as both... I'm a bit lost on my wording here, but it looks like Ceruledge is properly set up thanks to a weakness policy. It is now +1 attack, +2 speed with the... not the weakness policy, weak armor, as it's now sweeping the team with Bitter Blades, Poltergeist, a new move from the DLC, which does a lot of damage depending on if the opponent has an item or not, and just reducing. Goodness gracious, is this gonna kill too? Wow.
Yep. Unfortunately, so weak armor is actually an incredibly smart play on Zeus' part. Taking that knockoff was probably one of the most unfortunate things that could have ever happened. This situation is 1 in 1,000. Bringing weak armor, that's why weak armor is not really the move to bring to this Pokemon. In this situation, it played off completely well. Not a single one of Pokemon, not even Choice Scarf Latias, was faster than this.
God damn.
Yep. Weak armor is a fantastic ability in the right situation, and that was the right situation. And unfortunately, all of these Pokemon just lose to Ceruledge.
That's a strong mon indeed, although I'm more used to losing to its brother, Armarouge.
Yeah, in VGC, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this thing's a monster in single. It's better than its brother in singles, whereas the brother is better in doubles for sure.
Goodness, that's two matches in a row where the last game comes down to a really demoralizing sweep.
Yep.
Hopefully, we could see both players, or hell, all players, be able to recover in week 4 and come back strong and possibly get a 2-0 victory over their opponents. As we're now going to move on to the last match of week 3, I believe.
Yep, this is the last match of week 3, or technically the first one, but like I said, we went back in reverse. Guardian versus Burgle. Both of these players are known for being unconventional, to say the least. They run strategies that aren't your Smogon standard stuff, which is something that can be said for a lot of our players. Derpologist is definitely not a Smogon, Smogon picker, which works in his favor many of the times. Drake is definitely not a Smogon picker. A lot of his strategies look very based off Smogon, but a lot of his sets do deviate from them. Isaac also has the same thing as Drake, where a lot of their sets look very standard, but they do deviate. And Photon, very creative player. Guardian and DEEWUU are both also very creative players, being able to pick strategies that function well with their team and complement each other very well. So I think this one's actually going to be very interesting, as these two players are definitely the most unconventional players.
In this kind of format, you want to be creative, you want to be unconventional, really trip up your opponent and get an easy victory on them. As looking at the teams right now, Guardian has a couple of returning Mons. Hawlucha's back from week 1, so we'll possibly see that substitute Unburden setup that we saw during its games. Umbreon, same old. Suicune as well, probably about to set up some Calm Minds. Alcremie might also do the same. I believe Tinkaton and Jolteon are new picks for week 3 for Guardian.
Did Guardian not use Jolteon last week?
I don't remember, but Tinkaton is definitely new.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I don't
no.
see Jolteon.
Jolteon is definitely new, and so is Tinkaton. And on DEEWUU's side, I think we have all new Pokemon.
I'm not sure, actually. I feel like these are all new, although, gosh, it's been a minute. Wow, are these all new?
Let's find
Go.
out.
Yeah, check week 1. Does he have Caesar here?
No, these are all new. Every
Wow.
single one of DEEWUU's Pokemon here is completely new.
You love to see it. Really fucking. What's that? What's that fucking Yu-Gi-Oh card? Card destruction. Okay. I send my hand to the graveyard. I reshuffle my deck.
Or in Pokemon TGC, the Professor Oak card.
Mm-hmm. Keeping it on track. Good. As let's real quick overview of these teams. We got Blaziken, very famous for getting speed boost way back in the day and getting banned, and then coming back because of power creep. But still a fucking threat of a mon, as speed boost is not something to laugh at, especially on a Pokemon with such high attacking stats and a good move pool to make up for that. You know, Blaze Kick, Sky Uppercut, all the elemental punches. I think it could learn an ice type move. Oh, that's Ice Punch. Yeah, just really good coverage all around. Breloom, you know, fucking same classic shit. Mach Punch, Spore. What else do you really need? Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, it could also now, especially in Generation 9, run Loaded Dice Bullet Seed, which helps it be very, very strong. And if it doesn't want to risk that, it can absolutely run Seed Bomb as well. But back to Blaziken real quick. Blaziken is a strong Pokemon, but not just because it's a physical attacker. Like Infernape, it is also a very strong special attacker.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it can run stuff like Overheat, it can run Focus Blast. This mon is flexible, and it is one of the more unpredictable Pokemon. And thanks to Speed Boost Protect, every now and then it can run maybe a support set here and there.
Oh, wow, you're right. Its attack and special attack stats are pretty similar. I didn't know that.
Yep, absolutely. And as for Breloom, like you said, Spore and Mach Punch, those are definitely bread and butter for Breloom. But even now, it doesn't really run Mach Punch as much in favor of just support sets.
Mm-hmm.
But Gardevoir is definitely Gardevoir was definitely a good Pokemon when it first came out, but it has fallen off. Without its Mega, Gardevoir doesn't really do much, unfortunately.
It feels like one of those Calm Mind setup kind of mons, but I'm not really sure what else it does.
That's what it did when it was a Mega, for sure. Nowadays, I'm not entirely sure either. This is definitely a Pokemon that I think has fallen off the wayside, and could probably use some love from Game Freak, since it's so popular.
And I'm sure it gets tons of love in other places, but
hey,
meanwhile,
yo.
on to Porygon's weird uncle. We got Porygon Z with the trusted dolphin on his desktop. What kind of mon is this? Is this an attacker, or is this also a
Bro, this is
also kind of a defensive thing?
This is a special attacker with what I believe is 140 or 145 special attack.
Jesus, I think it gets downloaded as an ability too, so it should get a free.
Oh, it's 135.
Monster energy boost. Jesus,
yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, but the thing is, it doesn't even run download. It runs adaptability, which is just one of the best fucking abilities out there, because it gets to be able to use, like, just shoot out moves like crazy. Including a lot of people run this thing with like either Tri Attack or Adaptability Hyper Beam, because the fuck are you gonna do? Nothing.
Go back to that tab real quick. Sorry to interrupt. Do I see that set say teleport?
Yeah.
So could it use that to pivot?
Yep, absolutely. Teleport is the
wow.
only pivoting move with minus priority. It always goes last, and it helps certain Pokemon like Clefable in Generation 6 and 7, using Teleport to really just provide it the craziest advantage. Take a hit and teleport, move away. I don't think we seek Teleport anymore, because I think Game Freak got rid of it for good reason, because Teleport is, in my opinion, a broken move.
Actually, they might have just changed it instead of getting rid of it, because I'm realizing now, isn't that the only move that Abra has for, like, all of its life?
Oh, you could teach a Hidden Power. And I think you could teach Abra a few other things. But, like, through
Abra's
TM.
not in Sword and Shield, so yeah, actually.
Well, Teleport has been around even past the Abra era thing. That's the thing, too. But yeah, Gallade, Gardevoir. Oh yeah, Gallade and Gardevoir are the only Pokemon that get it in this.
Oh, you know what? It's just limited distribution now, and Abra is not in Scarlet Violet. That's what I meant to say. So.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of these Pokemon that you see right here, these Pokemon are in Scarlet and Violet.
Oh yeah, like I said, just limited distribution of teleport.
Yep. Yeah, because...
Anyways,
Oh, I mean,
hey.
Bisharp and Arcanine, yeah. I mean, Arcanine is an Intimidate mon, 100%. It throws out Flare Blitzes like it's no one business. And Bisharp's a classic. The question is he running Eviolite on it now, or is he going with Life Orb or something else? Because this Pokemon getting an evolution was one of the best things that ever happened to it competitively.
And not just because its evolution is fucking wicked strong. And real quick before we start the battle, what kind of sets does Jolteon and Tinkaton run? Because I understand the gist of the rest of Guardian's team, unless he switched up the sets. But like I think Tinkaton nowadays is kind of like a support mon with Gigaton Hammer on the back to deal some damage. But I don't really know what Jolteon does.
Well, Jolteon is essentially Regieleki Jr. What it does is it runs a lot of electric type moves, Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, with either Hidden Power or Terra Blast, depending on the generation. The problem with Jolteon is, unfortunately, it does not get very good coverage moves, but it has tremendous speed and the ability to provide fast support if necessary. Jolteon, as we said it when we recorded Guardian's video, but Jolteon actually has a lot of options that it can do, but it's not very good overall, unfortunately.
Jack of all trades, master of none. Hell, I think I said that in that video too.
Yep. As for Tinkaton is a very solid support Pokemon that right now is, you won't be surprised, is very good in UU. It is a UU threat, absolutely. This Pokemon can set up, you can use Fake Out, it can set up rocks, it can use its signature move every now and then, which is stronger than a Hyper Beam, and very few things resist it being a Steel type offensive move. It also has the best offensive type in the game, but not the best offensive types stats to complement it. But that doesn't change the fact. Fairy Steel is still phenomenal, with absolutely nothing that can really stop it once it gets going.
I hope Game Freak buffs this mon in the future, because it's definitely like one of my favorite new designs of the new generation, and quickly became one of my top 10 favorite Pokemon.
Oh, but let's go ahead and see the fight now. We're starting off with Blaziken with the nickname Choice Band versus Bring the Thunder.
Goes for Volt Switch. Half health runway. Guardian showing off some great nicknames right now. Oh, taking a lot of damage for the EQ though, as DEEWUU did not go for a fire type move. Unfortunately, Suicune does not resist that. But oh wow, Whirlpool on the Suicune. Very, very Gen 2. Very interesting.
Very smart play on his part, although risky, because if that move had missed, he would have died to the EQ next turn. Still, I think I could appreciate Guardian taking that risk there, because if for any reason he had switch, whatever he was going to switch was going to stay stuck for several turns.
As we got to the Bisharp, going for knockoff classic stuff. It has a name in French that I can't pronounce. Nacho Libre.
Oh my god!
Opting for the switch on DEEWUU's part. So let's see if Hawlucha's gonna set up right now.
So real quick, I know what this is. This choice. A Charp, I believe, is this Scarf? It is. Scarf. Okay, yeah.
Just choice Scarf. Are all of his mons named after items?
Maybe, yeah.
Let's see. Special Roga?
Irish.
Choice Specs.
A choice. Oh my, there's no fucking way.
Really benefiting Guardian if they choose to use Google Translate here. Although I don't know if this is actually choice spec. It keeps going for Moonblast. However, it is the best choice in this situation. As Guardian sets up his classic substitute until he uses Berry and gets unburdened with it gets Poison Jab, one shot into the Gardevoir, and oh come on, what does this one say? Choice band. You're not running Bandit or Arcanine.
Yes, the fuck he is. No, yes, the fuck he is.
Choice Subando.
Cinta Elegida. That's I believe that is banned. Elegida. I do not actually know what that translates to. Chosen. Oh yeah, Elegida. Yeah. I misread it. Yes.
Also choice band.
I think all of his Pokemon are choiced.
DEEWUU is a very interesting trainer, I should say. Looks like it's not Poison Heal Breloom, though. Probably going for Technician since it's more of an offensive set. Guardian going out to the Alcremie, realizing, or maybe guessing that all of DEEWUU's Mons their choice. Probably going to set up now. No, just going for Mystical Fire. Much safer because I forgot Power Punch does what it says on the tin. Now going out to Umbreon. Gonna tank this Flare Blitz. Ooh, barely though. And gets burned. That sucks. The Synchronize, though, unfortunately,
will not do anything. Yep, it being a fire type, being immune to it. It's using Protect to try to get some HP back, but as we saw with the Drake match, when you're burned, you don't heal.
-6.
Flare Blitz
again takes down Umbreon. It's now 3-3 right now. As Jolteon comes out, no ground types on DEEWUU's team to resist that, but it doesn't deal enough damage with that Thunderbolt. It does hang on to its sash, though, as the Arcanine goes down to it. Goes for the Thunderbolt. Does not go for the Sucker Punch on Bisharp. Probably going just for the safer option of a knockoff just in case Guardian switched.
There's the
now
fake
here
out.
Comes Tinkaton. Going for the fake out. Knocking off Alcremie now. I hate to say it, this might be a throw from Guardian's side, as this thing's just going to keep hitting knockoff. Oh, Gigaton Hammer. Okay, good. This thing is faster. I wasn't sure. Here comes Port. Okay, hold on. What's this name? Is that... What the hell is that? Specs.
Yep.
Stop Hammer time is no moves. You struggle? What? Is it choice as well?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, it has to be. Yeah.
Oh, is that wins him the game?
Ooh, that crit. I don't know if that crit mattered.
I don't know.
You struggled, dealt 17%. I don't think it really mattered. I mean, Gigaton Hammer is a stab move with 150 base power. It probably didn't matter against
Tinkaton,
this thing.
Here, while you're looking that up, I think that's either choice band or choice scarf because it was faster than Bisharp. But I don't know what their base speeds are, so I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, let's find out.
Probably should have clicked Steel type on Cerebi since they're both Steel types, but I don't think. I just click on stuff. That's how I play Pokemon. Looks like Bisharp has base 70 speed, and Tinkaton actually has base 90. So it could be banded and just be faster.
Well, no, because as we saw with this name, this thing was choice scarfed.
Well, you're trusting the names, of course.
I don't see why he would lie about that.
No,
because if you really look at it, that was the best choice for Bisharp. Bisharp does not have a lot of speed, but it has plenty of attack power. Giving it Choice Scarf would give it the speed necessary to deal with some of this mons. Same thing with this getting Choice Scarf. Being able to outspeed some of the Pokemon that actually threaten it.
I will say that DEEWUU definitely seems like the type of player that would name all of their mons Choice Band and then pretend to be Choice Banded for the first game. And then mix it up the second game somehow.
No, he would not do that. Like that, one of the things about him is that he's very criminally honest. He does not like tricking people like that. He likes his goofiness, but he is very outspoken about tricking people like that. I think his names are as honest as they get, which is why I firmly believe that. Yeah, I think that was Choice Scarf, and as a result, I think this is also Choice Scarf.
And it being faster won them the game, possibly.
Right, most likely, yeah, for sure. But we still got plenty of games to look at right here, so let's go ahead and see the next one.
Let's move on to game 2 as Guardian takes a 1-game lead against DEEWUU, aka Burgle, aka Jordan. Man of many names.
Yep.
As we're going to start with Breloom and Suicune. Because the stream is lagging. What is happening?
What's the stream lagging?
Yeah. Is your laptop plugged in?
Yeah.
Let me leave and come back. Sorry.
Bet.
Technical difficulties, folks. All right, good on my end. My bad.
All right, let's go ahead and see the fight then.
All right, let's get back to it. All right, we're leading off with Breloom and Suicune, as I said before. Go for the Bullet Seed this time. Super effective damage. Is it going to hit 3 times? Yep, Suicune is down really quickly yet again. Here comes Nacho Libre, setting up a substitute. Very safe against this Bullet Seed right now, although with multiple hits, I was wrong. 3 hits is just enough to take down the substitute, and 1 flying press is enough to take down Breloom.
Yep, absolutely. If not for the only 2 hits, I think that would have dealt enough damage to actually bring it down to a very good place. But real quick switches from both people as he copies the Volt Absorb.
Trace Volt Absorb. Smart. Going for the Calm Mind on Guardian's side as it
Ooh,
survives with the sash.
Psyshock, actually incredibly smart move on DEEWUU's part. Predicting the Calm Mind most likely. Psyshock goes through Calm Mind because it targets defense instead.
Mm-hmm. Look at this Jolteon is sash though, so it should be able to put out one more Hail Mary before it dies. Guardian not opting to do that though, switches out to Umbreon to eat up the Psyshock because Dark types do not like Psychic type moves. Does not affect the opposing mom.
Opposing mom sending out Wish, most likely to protect her baby. He's starting to throw out some Earthquakes, maybe trying to predict a switch. And it looks like he gets the full heal instead.
Blaziken being Toxic's pretty bad for it since it mainly wants to keep staying in so speed boost can keep going up, but with Toxic, it's just health is just going to keep going down and it doesn't really have any recovery moves aside from maybe Drain Punch.
Toxic, but that gets sent right back thanks to the Synchronize that was just copied. Very clever playing on DEEWUU's part.
The wish came true as Umbreon is healing back most of its health now. However, it seems to have done its job. It got a Toxic off. It used a wish to heal back most of its health. So it goes out to Jolteon to sack. And now we're seeing what else Guardian will send out because now we're 5v3 right now. And we're running out of offensive threats on Guardian's team. So here comes Tinkaton. Probably going to go for a big-ass Gigaton Hammer. Not going to deal that much damage to this Arcanine, though, which is a
Nothing wants to take this Flare Blitz either.
No.
Yep.
Yeah, as Umbreon takes plenty of damage, just enough to almost go down. I don't know the numbers, folks. Sorry. But here comes another Flare Blitz, deal enough damage. Chip out Arcanine just a little bit, do the recoil. Now Guardian is down to 2 more Pokemon. It's just looking pretty dire for Guardian. However, if Alcremie, never mind, that's a lot of damage.
Alcremie's out here surviving.
Nope,
using acid armor. Yeah, trying to see if they could. They most likely expected to survive with a little bit more HP than just one. And we don't even know if that was a high roll or not. That could have been a KO too. I mean, Arcanine does have decent attack. It can throw out those Flare Blitzes like it's no one's business. And unfortunately, this Flare Blitz.
As we can see, it is Choice Bando.
Oh, switching out. Most likely reading the fake out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Smart.
but instead
going for knockoff instead.
Ooh.
Knocking the Scarf off. Freeing Bisharp to choose whatever move they please. And yet still going for knockoff. Oh, wait, never mind. It wasn't knocked out before. Now both Mons are free to use whatever moves they want as we go for the Thunder Wave. Bisharp is now paralyzed, leaving a Gigaton Hammer to deal almost half health. Full pair on Bisharp's side. Tinkaton might not be able to win the entire game, but it might be able to kill one Mon at least, as it gets the -1 attack, which is kind of shitty for it. Goes for the knockoff, though. Takes out Arcanine.
Yep, looks like DEEWUU really has everything. But unfortunately, at this point of the game, there's not much Guardian can do. No amount of damage that it can deal can defeat this Pokemon, or really any of his other Pokemon as well.
This is a shame, because that'd be a hell of a reverse sweep.
Absolutely.
As a DEEWUU wins game 2. I believe that's 1-1, correct?
That is 1-1. DEEWUU definitely playing very well there, despite having a very goofy set in using all choice items. We can see that DEEWUU is very clearly not an incompetent player, though, because being able to use something as stupid as that to be blunt. I was blunt early. I'll be blunt again. As stupid as that and win a match is absolutely stellar.
Mm-hmm. As we're starting off with Porygon and Hawlucha now, Guardian probably opting to win with the clean sweep of Hawlucha. Instead, just opting for a Flying Press just to get rid of this Mon immediately. Smart play, as DEEWUU doesn't seem to be wanting to switch until he uses a move. Guardian maybe tanking a Flare Blitz this time. Wild Charge this time. DEEWUU read the switch to Suicune. Suicune is reduced to almost no health right now. Switching out to Jolteon. Hopefully this thing could survive a Wild Charge because this thing is... Oh, wait, the Volt Absorb. Right. Taking full advantage of the full choice team. Guardian's going to...
Volt
Switch, get the pivot. That crit didn't... I mean, it mattered, of course, but, like, it didn't... It hasn't won the game yet. That did a lot of damage, though. Hawlucha coming out. And now is it going for a Flying Press or is it going for a substitute? Going for the Flying Press. That does 41 damage. Now, if it's faster... Oh, not willing to bet on it. Switches out to Umbreon, who's going to take an E-Speed. Oh, very smart on Guardian's head, though, because I completely forgot about the E-Speed. DEEWUU continues to pivot back to Breloom this time. Guardian sets up a Wish. Unfortunately, with so many choice threats on the field, it's going to be hard to pass a Wish off to some other mon. Stone Edge misses, and Toxic does not.
Ooh, very
We've already
unfortunate
seen that
there.
is not Toxic Heal, though. So this thing is on borrowed time.
Honestly, very interesting play over here to use Stone Edge, most likely trying to get a read. But even if he does get a read on anything, there's not really much that wants to take any fighting type move. A fighting type move would have absolutely been the best choice as it hits 3 of its Pokemon. Even if Tinkaton doesn't takes neutral damage, that's still damage. Same thing with Volt Jolteon, which will only take 1 fighting move before dying.
Let's pick the Toxic on Breloom and switch out to Gardevoir now. Retracing the Synchronize. Real big fan of that Synchronize. As Guardian is now Wish passing onto the Tinkaton. Seeing as if... easily tanks the Moonblast as it resists that due to the Steel typing. Not the Fairy typing, though.
Yeah, but this has to be a switch. Otherwise, it's going to die to the 100% coming Gigaton Hammer. Looks like he opted for Fake Out.
That's bad. He has to switch out now. Going out to Umbreon, who's going to take this Flare Blitz. Ooh. Maybe not the best for DEEWUU either, because that recoil mattered a lot. Let's see what Guardian's going to go for here. Protect. Get that extra leftovers recovery.
Unfortunately, this still does die to Flare Blitz, but it also kills DEEWUU's biggest threat against Guardian's team, as we saw Arcanine put in a lot of work last game.
Going out to Blaziken. Choice Band, Speed Boost is a threat, but so is Hawlucha, so let's see what happens. Flying Press is a fighting type and a flying type move, so it's super effective on the firefighting Blaziken, taking it down in 1 hit.
Unfortunately, I think at this point, Hawlucha does actually clean sweep everything on his team.
Poison Type does not Oko this time.
Hidden Power does.
Wow.
Absolutely stellar special attack from Gardevoir.
What Hidden Power could that be?
Most likely, if I had to guess, it's probably Electric, because it's either Electric or Ice, because it already has the coverage it needs for Moonblast, Psyshock. Most likely Ice.
Thunderbolt, though, doesn't it? Maybe Ice then, yeah.
Yeah, it's most likely Ice, because it doesn't get any Ice moves.
Going for the Thunderbolt. The Breloom does live it, however. He's going to die to the Toxic. Yep. It's now 2v4 right now.
Gardevoir tracing the Volt Absorb, meaning he is forced to switch here.
Pretty good. Sends out Tinkaton. Unfortunately for DEEWUU, this thing tanks basically anything that it could go for. Psyshock still does a pretty feasible 40% damage right now.
But it doesn't matter, because that Choice Scarf is going to make it deal a lot of damage. And now he gets a free switch into any one of his other partners, and DEEWUU is stuck with whatever move he chooses now.
Let's see what he goes for. Iron Head. Doesn't deal quite enough damage to Suicune to really make a difference. This might be it for DEEWUU, unless he gets really lucky with some flinches right now. Aqua Ring, that's interesting. I suppose that's the only recovery it really gets outside of leftovers. Now, even with some flinches from Iron Head, I'm not really sure if he'll be able to take out this thing. As here comes the Whirlpool, basically signing Bisharp's death right here.
Yep.
Iron Head again. No flinch. No flinch. This is the Whirlpool. This is a strange Suicune set.
It doesn't unfortunately doesn't matter unless he gets enough high rolls to actually KO this mon, since it resisted. It is dealing enough damage where it will eventually KO. Oh, and that flinch definitely mattered.
Okay. I don't know if it's going to matter enough, though, because it's now at 22%, and Bisharp is taking so much damage from that Whirlpool right now. The resist still alive. No flinch, no flinch. This is going to be it for DEEWUU, as the Whirlpool residual damage is going to deal just enough. Right, okay, I wasn't sure. Just enough to take down Bisharp and win Guardian Game 2. Oh, goodness. GG's for both players. And I'd have to echo that statement. That was a close last match right there, and very interesting plays and teams from both players.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Unfortunately, if this mon had gone down, then I think Guardian would have been put in a less than desirable situation, having to deal with just Bisharp. I think that Bring the Thunder, as we saw in the previous match, would have been enough to KO it, but it being the only thing faster than it. But everything else had a chance to absolutely lose that game thanks to Iron Head's flinch chance. So I would definitely agree. That's definitely a close game. That one definitely was a little bit. But Guardian managed to take another win home, and very well played too. But yeah, that brings us over to the last game. Unfortunately, Zach hasn't updated his stats yet. So we don't know what the stats are just yet. Unless he has. Wait a minute. Is that it? No, it's not. Yeah.
No. We can get to it either in a future video or when week 4 comes around. We can do it in the beginning of the video.
Yeah. It might be a good idea for us to wait until Zach's stats are updated before recording. So
makes sense. They're fun to look at.
We have week 4 to actually talk about, since we know who's going to be participating in week 4.
Who's that, Pedro?
We have Guardian versus Photon Debugger. A very exciting match because both of these players have been shown to be very creative. Isaac versus Derpologist 4, which is going to be a runback of, I think, 2 players who understand Pokemon very well, but their weaknesses come in the fact that they don't practice their matches at all. Definitely Drake versus K-Web, who I would argue is the smartest player versus the most skilled player. And I think that's going to definitely come into play there. That said, the reverse is not very equal in that level, so I'm very curious to see how K-Web is going to approach this fight, as Drake is also a very skilled player, and K-Web's knowledge is definitely lacking in a lot of areas. And finally, DEEWUU versus Zayas, the most analytical player versus the most unpredictable player. So I think those 2 matches, those 4 matches are definitely all going to be matches that everyone's going to want to keep an eye out for. Week 4, the second half of this, is definitely going to be very, very strong and definitely very much worth the watch.
As always, I'm looking forward to it.
But yeah, overall, any thoughts on the battles themselves? Any battles, any favorite battles, any favorite people at this point?
Looking through some of the ones that we saw here, let's see. Both Drake and Isaac seem to kind of settled into a team that they really like, as they've repeated a lot of mons between the 3 weeks. So it'll be interesting to see if they make any sort of variations at all in the future. Drake probably not needing to, showing a dominant force in all their battles this week. Isaac, maybe just changing some of the moves around, because their team, just in concept, is full of some very strong mons. Moving on to Derpologist and Dantana. Derpologist definitely had some very, I mean, probably the goofiest team with a bulk up Sableye, and just Malamar in general. So I'm interested to see what they're going to go for next week. If they're going to go for another tricky team as they did this week, or if they're going to go for if they're going to pull out a lot of stops, because they do have a lot of strong mons in their pocket. But we'll see what they're going for. I believe they're up against Isaac next week, so we'll see how that works up. Danny, on the other hand, again, real strong mons, pretty simple showing. Nothing too flashy or over or crazy about it. So again, might stay with it, might switch, who knows. Looking over at Zayas and Photon Debugger, yeah, also pretty good mix up of their mons. So again, maybe that'll change up, maybe it won't. Interested to see, especially Guardian and Photon Debugger, because like you said, they have some very creative ideas for teams. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of gimmicks they'll bring out and how they'll use them. Speaking of which, Guardian, always interested to see what they're going to pull out, because I mean, frankly, they have some of my favorite mons in their pocket. I think they have Tinkaton, Cinderace. Do they have Masquerade? I don't remember.
No, that's Derp.
Okay. But Cinderace, Tinkaton, this Hawlucha is also definitely putting in work, and they also got Lucario in the back, etc. Fucking Morpeko, the GOAT. But either way, interested to see how that's going to go on. Especially interested to see if they're going to continue with Hawlucha, because it didn't really get It had managed to take out a few mons in game 3, I believe, to I think get them the win. I need to remember who wins and loses these things. But so I'm wondering if they're going to stick with Hawlucha, especially because I have a hunch they're going to stick with Umbreon and probably Suicune and Alcremia as well. And I mean, of course, I really want to know what DEEWUU's doing because they definitely had the standout weird shit team this week. I mean, Dirtball just had the bulk up Sableye, but like entire team of choice mons, like that is weird as hell. And I'm surprised. I'm sincerely surprised they got a game off because that sort of predictability you would think would instantly lose for them. But choice items are really strong in their own right. So I'm wondering if I should be looking out for another strange team next week, or if they're going to go for a more serious match as it looks like they're up against Isaac.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna be the question too, because I believe no, DEEWUU is up against Zeus.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. So DEEWUU is up against Zeus, and I think running a serious team against Zeus is definitely the play. But it's also important to note, like I said before, Zeus is definitely the most analytical player. He's definitely looking at this over with big like microscope, right? Probably the player looking
tinted lens.
Yeah, definitely looking at this more so than any other player. And the only monster we haven't seen from DEEWUU, I believe, are Slowbro and Hitmontop. As everyone else we have seen DEEWUU use.
Yeah, you're right.
Which is on its own right. I think that's the way that this strategy works. Picking Pokemon that nobody has seen you use before. And that unpredictability is ultimately what DEEWUU is most likely going to be banking off, and that in his general knowledge of Pokemon. I think those are definitely advantages, but obviously there's always a limit to that kind of stuff. Going for a billion unpredictable things means that you also can't predict the outcome of the battle. Whereas Wyatt has gone through with not necessarily unconventional strategies. Wyatt does have bread and butter for himself, but it's not the bread and butter that you expect to see on a Smogon set. Aqua Ring, Leftovers on Suicune, it is very smart. Whirlpool, moves like those do carry a lot of weight in this sort of meta because not a lot of people are ready for them. And that's what Guardian does. Even his Hawlucha, despite running a similar set from what it always does, ran something different this time with both Poison Jab and Flying Press, moves that Guardian we have not seen him use yet. And of course bringing in Tinkaton for the first time ever. So Guardian still has a few tricks up his sleeve, which unfortunately is not the same I can say about Burgle. He only has 2 Pokemon that he has not used yet, and that revealing your cards this early is exactly why I think so many people have repeated so many Mons.
Yeah, they want to be able to keep those tricks in their pocket just in case, because there's still 4 more weeks of battling.
Yep.
And 4 more weeks of surprises that you could spring on your opponent.
Absolutely. Which brings us over to the next match. Oh, I didn't mean to close that off. Which brings us back to over here to Photon Debugger versus Zeus. Photon Debugger, again, strong showing across the tournament. This is their first loss in the tournament. And they have just an incredible list of Pokemon in general. Access to some generally very strong Pokemon. Latias, of course, and Amorous, Lurantis. While we didn't get to see Lurantis shine in the last match, we know it's pretty strong. Keldeo, phenomenal Pokemon. And just
you make a good point. I even remember when Photon was down to the last 3 Mons during, I think it was game 1. Like, I kept saying, like, they may be the last 3 Mons, but all 3 of those Mons are threats because that's just she's got a whole pickings worth of just like threat after threat after threat after threat. And Dragalge, I don't know what that does.
Dragalge is just a strong special sweeper. I believe for a while, I know in Generation 6 it was UU.
That's Dragalia lost. That's actually
Let's see.
Hey, you can actually use Dragalge.
That's true. And UBL. Now it's
defense.
RU. RU, and the X and Y, I believe it was UU. Yeah, RUBL. So, I mean, the biggest thing about this Pokemon is a great special defense stat, decent special attack stat. 97 is nothing to scoff at, but the biggest thing about it, adaptability. One of the few Pokemon with adaptability, and probably one of the best Pokemon with adaptability. So it can always it gets double powered Dracos. I mean, like 260 BP Draco is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, something will die.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, they have a lot of Pokemon that they could come from, and their strategies are not completely conventional. So we'll go ahead and keep an eye on them too, because I think they could definitely got a lot to cook. And the same can honestly be said about Zayas. Zayas has been keeping their cards not as close. I believe they actually used all of their Pokemon, except for Superior.
Mismagius hasn't been used.
Yeah. Has it not?
I think that's it. Have they used Iron Valiant?
I think week 1 they used Iron Valiant.
Yeah. Right. There it is.
But yeah, so I mean, like aside from wait, are there 1 or 2? They're 2. Aside from, I don't think they used Skeleturge yet. I don't actually remember.
No, they have. They haven't used Mismagius.
Yeah, they haven't used Mismagius for sure, and they haven't used. Let me move this right here. And Superior. That's it. So they're revealing the cards a lot. The thing that Zayas does well is use items very well. He actually had one of his Pokemon had a berry, one of the berries that decreases damage. But as I said, like I said before, the berries, they can be good. They absolutely can be if you know what your opponent is doing. But it doesn't always work out because people can play around the berries. 90% of the time, they play around the berries accidentally too.
Because some mons just die before they get to eat them.
Exactly, yeah. Some Pokemon do, and they won't even die to what they're weak to, like in terms of the berry. Like the Fairy Berry is good on like a Pokemon like Sableye because it only has one weakness. Other Pokemon with one weaknesses can absolutely use those berries pretty much reliably. But unfortunately, a Pokemon with multiple weaknesses, there's a chance that your opponent will just think to themselves, "Oh yeah, this is the better type," you know.
And the item slot will just end up being useless.
Yeah, but that said, Zay is still playing very well because he uses items that absolutely make sense on the Pokemon. And even if you don't think about it, I'm pretty sure I had to look it up during the battles, but this thing was running Assault Vest, and that's incredibly intelligent because, yeah, the thing's weakness is its special defense of 80, mind you. Not bad, but with Assault Vest, that's massive.
Oh, yeah. Now bro thinks he's Iron Hands.
Exactly.
Double Iron Bash.
And yeah, I mean, Zayas definitely has a lot of good Pokemon, and his strategies are incredibly solid. He is not going to be an easy player to defeat for anyone, I don't think. Derpologist, like I said, yeah, I said my piece about Derpologist, but without a doubt, this player definitely has far more potential than I think even he realizes. And K-Web is just a very skilled player. All of his Pokemon are good. All of K-Web's Pokemon are very good. It's really going to be a matter of, will K-Web learn more about what the other Pokemon can do to actually take advantage of those Pokemon's weaknesses?
Well, if you don't want to study, the best way to learn is to, play, fight.
Well,
Get
yeah,
that experience.
I mean, yeah, that's good, but if you don't study, you're not going to win matches reliably. That's the thing too. There needs to be a balance for Pokemon. It's not a game where you can just practice and then learn everything, unfortunately. Knowing what a Pokemon does before it does it is valuable, and guesstimating is not always going to help you. Like if you die to a Pokemon with 125 base stat and then you fight a Pokemon with 135 base special attack, you're not going to figure out why because you didn't research that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what? That makes more sense, especially now I'm thinking of, take it from me. I'm more of the instinct guy, and I can count on fucking my hands and my feet, like just how many times they go, that thing gets what? And then I fucking die to it whenever I play this fucking game.
Yep. And of course, finally, Drake versus Isaac. If there's one thing Isaac needs, it's just to practice. He needs to practice for sure. But the thing is, the guy's busy. He is incredibly busy. He doesn't have a lot of time and free time to do that kind of stuff, which is unfortunate because I think if he did, he would absolutely be one of the best players. His team is always good. His strategies are always solid. I think the lack of knowledge is what ultimately kills him. And that's the opposite of Drake. Drake had consistently strong showings. He and Zayas are probably the two players who don't feel like they're stoppable, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because they just don't feel like they have any weaknesses outside of Zayas' weakness is probably that he probably is going to rely on being relatively predictable. And Drake's weakness is probably going to boil down to the simple fact that they pull out some weird shit.
Yeah, a little bit of hubris there.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm curious to see how the players, now that we're in week 4, listen to this and actually start accounting for their weaknesses. Because all of them have the potential to be ridiculously strong players. All of them are good at this game. It's just going to be a matter of will they take what is it called? I'm fucking drawing a blank. Will they be able to take those weaknesses into account and turn them into strengths, or are they gonna start getting some losses in their name? We have 3 people so far with nonstop wins, and for sure one of them is getting a loss next time, which is either Drake or K-Web.
Speaking of, what are the current standings now that we're in week 3?
Sure. So I can go ahead and tell you that. Right now, Guardian is 0. It's 2 out of 3. Or I'm sorry, 1 out of 3. He has 1 win out of 3 games. DEEWUU,
okay, so that would be 1-2.
Yeah, 1-2. 0. DEEWUU is at 0-3. Full On Debugger is at 2-1.
Okay.
Zayas is at 3-0. Derpologist is at 0-3. K-Web is at 3-0. Definitely Drake is at 3-0. And Isaac is at 0-3.
Some real decisive players.
Yeah, like I said, there's 3 players who are definitely showing up, but those 3 players could fall off at any minute, especially if the other players take the chance to really. Here's the thing, and I want to say this to anyone listening: take it seriously. Even if you lose, you can decide who wins. If you don't take your matches seriously, then you're letting a specific player win. Don't let someone else win. Because the best thing you can do is prevent somebody from winning, even if you don't win. Take it to heart that even though you don't have to be rooting for anyone, but you can still play out of your mind to make sure that someone doesn't win with a final score of 7-0. And I think there's a lot of value in someone not winning like that, because it tells us, yeah, this is actually a very balanced bracket despite everything. So, everyone...
I do want to butt in and say, despite the advice of saying make sure your opponent doesn't win, we do want to remind you that while it's not in the rules, you're not allowed to use any sort of out-of-game subterfuge, such as poisons or computer viruses or kicking their router or possibly blowing up their house or something. You're not allowed to do that.
We can't prove it.
It's not in the rules.
It's not in the rules.
Legally
speaking, sure, but we can't prove it if you guys kill a player or 2. So,
just kick the router instead. It's easier.
All I'm saying is, if they kill a player, then they don't have to worry about that player for future matches or future drafts.
I'm just saying it'd be really unfortunate if I were fighting my opponent and they just ended up terrestrializing for some reason and got disqualified. How would that happen?
My God. I had a firm talk with Isaac. He's not going to be doing it again. So, let's make sure it doesn't happen again, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Closing thoughts. I've honestly been stalling because Zach said he's going to have these stats up, and I'm
I mean, did he say he's gonna have them by now? I mean, we could always cut now, see if they come later tonight, and then real quick talk about them.
Yeah. We'll probably go ahead and do that then.
Just in case they don't, any closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts? No, I think everyone, like I said before, everyone is improving, and I've talked to some of the players personally, and I want to say, and I want to remind everyone, everything I tell you guys is for you to get better. Do not let that demoralize you. I am not calling you a bad player because you did not make a certain decision in certain games. A lot of the times when I'm criticizing a decision, I don't see the effect of it until later in the game. That means a lot of decisions that I could say are bad are actually fucking primo genius. I'm also not the best player in the world, so a lot of decisions that I criticize could be actually very smart. That said, when I tell you that some decisions you made, whether it be in team building or something, are not good, that's the thing I pride myself in. And that's the thing that maybe you guys, you don't have to listen to, of course. Play however the fuck you want. Number one rule. Play however you want. Because I think playing the game how you play it is ultimately far more valuable than playing the game how it's meant to be played. Especially in a draft league where playing how you play is usually what wins you games. All of that to say is, do not let my words discourage you. Let them do the opposite. Let all of my criticisms to you be encouragement for you to get better. If you don't take what I say to heart, then ultimately when you fail to improve, it's on you. And that is the same with any criticism that you'll hear from any other player or anyone else in the draft.
It's not words to put you down. It's the kind of advice that we want to be able to give you so that you can become stronger. And so that week 4, we can see some strong teams, some weird teams, and some fucking upsets. Because some of y'all have been 3-0 for too fucking long is all I'm saying.
Agreed.
I want to see some losses right now. That shouldn't be happening.
All I'm saying is, we know we're going to get to see someone go from 3-0 to 3-1. Definitely Drake or K-Web are definitely being 3-1. But DEEWUU, I want you to destroy Zayas. Like, plain and simple. I want to see someone, and then later, whoever it is between definitely Drake and K-Web that wins, I want someone else to destroy them.
We here at the Pokemon Draft League are not biased in our picks, and there's no betting or bounties on specific players.
You're not betting?
Huh?
You're not betting?
Is it? Where is it? I didn't know there was.
We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it off screen.
Okay, we'll talk about it later. Cut.
But yeah, no, like seriously, we want to see the players who are currently winning lose, because plain and simple, it's more interesting when those players lose. That said, winning players don't throw. Win. We still want you guys. If you get, like, you have no idea. If you guys get a fucking 7-0 at the end of this shit, that's gonna be crazy hype.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously we don't want that, but it's gonna be crazy hype.
Plus, every tournament arc needs a villain. Is all I'm saying.
Absolutely. And I think we have 3 people on their villain arc right now.
Fucking Toguro bulking up with their 3-0 victories.
So the question is gonna be, which of these 3 villains is gonna be the one to get shut down first?
Mm-hmm. If they do.
If they do, right? Well, one of them will get shut down next time, but they could still win it too.
Either way, I'm excited to see whatever the hell happens next week, because I've been waiting for this all fucking week. So being able to do it now is, good. So hopefully y'all get your matches done earlier in the week so that we could do this earlier, and then maybe we can get the stats out earlier and not have to worry about stalling for time. You know?
Yeah, for sure. So before we close off, one final thing. Next week, I will be announcing Season 2 of the draft. It has
the rule
been...
set?
Yep, the rule set. it has been in the works for a while. That said, once season 1 ends, there will be about a month period before we play again, and that's including before we start picking. The rules are going to be very different. The only thing I'll tell you guys right now is that it's called the Booster Pack Draft. So... be very excited, and for those of you who want to play or who don't want to play, absolutely communicate it with me. We're going to try to get more players in, so anyone that doesn't want to play, absolutely, you could dip out. And I believe Trevor has interest in playing too, and we might be getting a secondary commentator just in case, but we will be seeing some changes around regardless. I'm still not going to play. I have to run these sticks, so I don't get a chance to play.
Until the opposite is true, but yeah.
Yeah. Once you guys get better than me, because you will, if you guys keep improving at the pace you're improving, it took me years to get to the level that you guys are at. Like, every time I criticize you guys, I want you guys to remember that it took me years to get to the level where you guys are at. And you guys, you're going to surpass me eventually. So just keep playing and keep doing that. Some of you have surpassed me. I'm not going to lie. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to everything. So, without further ado, bye.
Bye.